Hey folks, LTZ here, and I don't know about y'all, but I am excited that we are pretty much in the hot spot of festival season, convention season, especially for witch and pagan events. So what I thought I'd do for y'all today is talk a little bit about what are the do's and don'ts, especially if you are a first-time attendee or maybe kind of a little wet behind the pentacle. Oh God, that's awful. And seeing like what things should you be doing and perhaps not doing at events. And keeping in mind, I'm going to be talking about indoor events that happen at a hotel over the course of usually several days. I am not the witch you want to talk to about outdoor camping festivals. I am a big fan of indoor plumbing and my bed being also indoors, and a distinct lack of ticks, mosquitoes, poison ivy, leeches. Those things, not my realm. I will occasionally do them, but I'm here to talk to you about indoor events. So, you've decided, congratulations, you have decided to go to a indoor pagan or witch event. What's in store for you? What should you be keeping notes on? What should you be preparing for? Right? And what don't you want to do? We're going to talk about it. So first thing is you need to be checking out the schedule. And most events, if they're well run, are going to have a program online on their website for you to check out. And especially awesome sites tend to have the Sketch app. That's SCHED. It's got like a little astronaut on there. And the Sketch app is so your friend because you can click on things that you're interested in, and each day while you're at the event, it will send you here's what you wanted to go to today. Some of them are also being used to determine how many people fit in a room. It's also one of the best things for your last minute changes and updates. So as it happens at all events, there's usually some sort of shift, cancellation, fill-in type of thing. So to kind of know what's happening moment to moment, or at least on a daily basis, if you open up the Sketch app, usually the event is going to be really good about saying, there's been a change, there's been something here. Also, another way, especially if they don't have a Sketch app, is most well-run events will also have a information center where they have like a little newsletter for the day that says like, this is our daily, updates on what's happening today, what's changed, those types of things. So you kind of want to, once you get into that space, familiarize yourself with, all right, where is the info booth? Where is the con ops, right? The convention operating center. So look at the schedule, kind of make plans. See what you're interested in, read the descriptions. Please read the descriptions. Nobody reads the descriptions. Like, everything you need is in that description. If you're wondering what things are about, this is the time, like beforehand, before you get there, to read about the presenters, to make sure maybe there's somebody who's going to be attending that you had no idea was going to be there, and like you could miss it if you weren't looking carefully at it. So take the time, read, look at the program. And I will say, okay, you make your plans, expect 10% of them to happen. Because once you get going at an event, all sorts of things happen. So you're not a failure if you plan to do 10 things in a day and you manage to get to 1 to 2 of them, right? You're doing great. All of your planned events, because other things are going to happen. That's just the nature of it. Especially the bigger the event is, the more stuff is going on. So you could change your mind. You could decide that you just met your new best friend and now you've spent a 4-hour dinner together at the bar, and you missed the evening ritual. Oh well. But you have a new best friend. It's great. So that's number 1. Look at the schedule, look at the program. Be sure if you have put it on your phone, if it's a Sketch app, so that you can keep in touch with those things. Now, once you get to the event, you're going to want to check in, register, look for the registration table. Also check the hours for registration. They're usually well posted on the website or announced on the page of when you can get in. If you're coming in early, sometimes an early bird check-in, and that's where you're going to get your badge. You might get a program, you might get a lanyard for your badge, And with your badge, right, most witch and pagan events tend to have your preferred name. So if you have a craft name, a spiritual name, a nickname, whatever preferred name is going on that badge, to the front facing. Some of them also will have your legal name on the back so that if the badge gets lost, they can know who it is. So, but that's something to keep an eye on. Especially if you want to cover it up, you might want to cover up the sticker or post-it note if you don't want that showing. You also, in most events, we're going to have space for your pronouns, so how you'd like your pronouns to be. There's also usually red, green, and yellow for how do you feel about personal contact. Are you a hugger? Are you a please ask before you hug me? Are they please get the fuck away from me, right? Pick the color on there. So you might see that system as well. Really important to pay attention to. Even if you don't know for yourself, paying attention for other people so that you're not invading their space, very important. So get your badge, have your badge out, make sure it's readable so people can see your name, and then that's a good start, right? All right, so schedule, badge. Another beforehand thing is people also are like, what do I wear? What do I wear to a pagan or a witch event? Well, I recommend comfortable and fabulous. This is my happy place. I like to feel fabulous. I also like to be comfortable. So it's also not a cosplay event. I might ruffle some feathers over that. But seriously, the point of an indoor pagan or witch event or cult event tends to be about learning. And so you're going to want something that's conducive to a learning environment. So this is not the event to break out your 6-foot fairy wings. You're not going to be carrying a sword around, giant antlers. These are, I'm not saying you can't wear those things. There's usually very specific times that you can get all dressed up and get all fancy. Usually there's a ball, there's a party, there's something else going on. That's when you dress up. That's when you can put on all of the accoutrements and play, if you will. But for during the day, don't be that asshole with the feathers and the wings that are this big. If you're at an event that it's mainly for learning and for attending classes and workshops and rituals and such, because you're going to be invading other people's spaces, you're not going to be that comfortable yourself. You might look fabulous. It's like, there are certain events, you're at a cosplay event, you're at a fantasy event, that's where you dress up, right? And it's part of the scene and the expectation. But if you are there to, take rituals and workshops and classes, wear clothes that are going to aid your comfort and allow you to be able to get through hallways and elevators and crowds easily without hurting yourself or anybody else, or being a block, basically blocking other people's view of anything. So people ask, like, is it okay if I wear all black? Yeah, you're going to have your contingent of people who are like wearing all black. You're going to have the people who are wearing rainbows and black. You're going to be people who are wearing somewhat type of ritual garb as well, but it's usually very comfortable ritual garb, especially if they're leading the rituals. And there's usually like the fun t-shirts and things like that. So people usually have that kind of low-level witchy goodness going on without being like high and playing dress up. Okay. Again, there usually is a dress-up experience at most events that they have a ball, a masquerade, some sort of dance where people do dress up. And usually those are themes, so you might want to look ahead of time in your program to see, like, what is the theme for this year? Is there a certain color? Is there certain, are we doing certain pantheons? What's going on for that? So, is it mandatory, or is it, you can still show up in jeans and people aren't going to care? Probably not. People tend to be pretty relaxed about that. So that's the thing to check. Also with hotel environments, even though they're controlled, some hotels can be incredibly hot. They might have heating or cooling issues. It might be freezing. It's even within the same hotel, if some rooms are in a basement versus in a, sunny space. So layers are your friend. Usually a hoodie, having socks, layers, scarves, it's just something that you can easily layer or take off and still be comfortable and also not violate any policies about how you are dressed. So that's an important thing. Check on that schedule, see if there's any newbie get-togethers. A lot of events often have a kind of like a speed friending or a speed meeting, where if you're new to the event, you want to make some new friends, because that's kind of, that's why we do, yes, we're about the education, but also about like, oh my God, friends. So, meet people who care about the same things I care about. It's great. It's a collection of introverts mostly who are like, you're all nerding about the same thing I'm nerding about, right? So you want to be able to meet those people. So a lot of events will have special opportunities so that you can, mingle and meet in a controlled environment. So if you're shy, you're kind of like, okay, here we are. We're going to do this thing. It's fun. It's a game. Other good opportunities usually are the opening rituals. I am notoriously bad at missing opening rituals because usually I'm setting up a booth or trying to stuff my face. But it is good if you can to attend the opening ritual, because usually you're going to get some important announcements at that event. They might go around and ask people to introduce each other, or themselves, not each other. But they might be highlighting certain things. So if you can, and you're very much new to event, kind of see, and most of these opening rituals are short and to the point. So kind of nice little sampling in there. So look for your friending events, look for the open ritual opportunities, opening events, the festivals, that's not the word I want. I don't know what I was going to try again there. We'll just keep moving forward. So other preparations to consider is, what is the food situation? Usually at a hotel, you're going to have at least one, if not multiple restaurants usually associated with the hotel. Usually there's a hotel restaurant and a bar, and a breakfast area. Depends on the hotel. Some hotels are situated in a very busy area where you can go outside and walk to, a dozen different other restaurants, lots of food choices. Others are in a bit of a food desert. They might be far out and away, kind of in the woods, or it's a car ride, which can be problematic if you're coming from out of the area. You take a plane, cab, etc., to get where you want to go. Of course, in this day, you can Uber or Lyft, or find new friends who have a car and get you somewhere else. But it can be really difficult, especially if you're hungry and the snack bar was only from 12 to 2 and it's now 3 o'clock and nothing opens till 5, right? So keeping an eye out, especially if you have certain dietary restrictions, to look for what's available to you. And so that's where I tend to be like, pack the snacks. just to be on the safe side, pack some snack. Because you might need nuts really quick, or you might need a cheese, or fruit, or, something for hydrating, your favorite kind of beverage. Having something that you can pull out really quickly, go to your room, refresh, a little chocolate bar. Those are really good to have. Now, of course, hotels tend to have another little, pantry or such where they have those, but you're paying a lot more than you would at the regular grocery store for those things. So packing a little bag is good. Check to see, does the hotel offer fridges and microwaves, or access to a microwave? Especially if you want to plan you plan doing it a little bit on the cheap and have something that you can have in your fridge and have it ready. That's good to know. And so check the policies on that, see what's available, what's in your room, and check the menus for the hotel, especially if you have gluten-free, you're vegan, what dietary restrictions you have. Keep an eye on that. So you eat, because nobody likes a hangry witch. I need to have food. There is no food. I'm sad and angry at the same time. So prepare. Also, sort of saving grace for some events too, is they tend to have a hospitality suite or a con suite, such as like Pagan. They have a room that's, it's usually got teas and coffee and little snacks you can take with you, like chips and things that you can grab, so that, again, nobody goes hungry. Other events schedule in certain meals as part of your whole ticket, right? Your registration is that there's a dinner on this night, there's a lunch served here. So be aware, look at the times, plan your food, because it's going to go by quick and you need to take care of your body. So, food. Kind of surprised I didn't start with the food. Food is very important to me. So, we have that. Checking the hours for things. Now, I already said about registration, but the vending room. This is one, as a vendor, I constantly hear people would like, especially on the other side of the door where they're sad, they're like, the vending room is closed. I had no idea. Like, when that schedule is posted on the door. Depending on the event, you might have really long hours for the vending room, so it's open usually before classes and workshops start and after, but some are pretty much exactly the same time, so you have to kind of choose when you get to look at the shopping area. And most people like to look at the shiny things regardless, and usually your vendors are going to be people from your community. They're going to be your local artisans and bookshops and such, offering witchy wares for you. Books, decks, and art, and ceramics, and clothing, and drums, and all the things. Rocks. Did I say rocks? There's going to be rocks. If you like rocks, there are going to be rocks. So that's a thing to keep an eye out for. And also with that is, I think most people nowadays take credit cards, or they take some sort of digital service for funds. But you might not have an ATM close by as well, so it might be good to pack a little extra cash just in case, or if the Wi-Fi is dodgy, etc. So especially if you're the further you go out into the world. So plan for the shopping. Set aside some time. It's going to be longer than you think because you're going to find something. So next thing is about class and ritual etiquette. So here you are attending in-person classes and workshops with your favorite author, witch, whatnot, right? And I've noticed that over the years, there's always kind of a changing dynamic, and the pandemic definitely shifted how people respond, like especially with Zoom, and how people kind of speak up. But for years, I would always have to start my workshops with, all right, we're going to have a certain amount of time. I am going to answer your questions. Please hold those questions until the end, unless it's something important, vital, right there in the moment. Because people have a tendency to be like, I don't really have a question, I have a comment, and here's my back life story. Like, you're in a class with a bunch of other people. Respect everybody's time. So if you have something, you can always write it down. Usually most presenters are available after to talk a little bit more too, but try to keep your questions and especially interjections to a minimum, or save them for the end if you want to share about that. Because respect everybody's time. It's like, yes, you want to share this thing, but there are 90, 200 people else in this room too, and if we did that, we wouldn't cover the material. That's why you're here, right? So be mindful of questions and interjections. Another thing to be really mindful of is accessibility. And one way of looking at that is, let's say you're in a ritual and there are people in who are having to sit at the perimeter or in mobile assistance vehicles and such. And if everybody stands, you're blocking their view. So making sure that you check behind you to make sure you're not blocking anyone else's view, that you're including those people. Also, if you have any issues about hearing or seeing, do make mention, make it clear, move yourself to the front of the room, say, I need to be closer, or take personal responsibility so that you can be in a position where you hear or see what you need to, or be in a space that's comfortable for you, because again, this is for you, it's for everybody. So I always find it important for me as a presenter to make sure people can hear me. But if you are in the back row and you can't see me and I'm not mic'd, get closer, say to the people around you, I have, a disability with whatever part that needs to be addressed. Could you please move so that I can partake more in this situation. So advocate for yourself. It's okay. I'd rather have you be happy and enjoy the experience than be like, oh, I shouldn't bug anybody. Like that is the difference between randomly interjecting your backstory. Understand the difference? I hope so. I hope I made that clear. So, the other thing, all right, so most events, they're 2, 3, 4 days long, right? So pace yourself. You're going to want to stay up till 3 a.m. and then the 9 a.m. ritual is going to roll along. And then you're going to be sad because you're either going to be up and tired or you're going to sleep through it. So I tend to pace myself in that I try to get to sleep at a normal time for me, and making sure that I'm just, even though there's lots of people I want to see, that I'm not up until 3 o'clock every night. There's going to be one night where I'm going to be coming back for that. So I try to adjust that for, not the day that I have to get up early the next day. This also means, so sleep, all right? There's usually the 666, making sure that you get like 6 hours of sleep. Actually, I don't remember what the other sixes stand for. Is that terrible? I just wrote down 666. It's the number of the beast and good hygiene. Bathe, sleep, eat. Right? These are the important things. So making sure that you get yourself a couple meals a day, that you sleep, and that you bathe, right? And keeping in mind that we are still dealing with multiple levels of different illnesses throughout the community. So that means wearing a mask where you need to, keeping your hands clean, washing your hands, making sure if you are sick, don't come to the event. Don't come. Most events will still be like, if you were to say, hey, I've come down with the flu or this or that, they will roll your registration to the next year, or they might be able to issue a refund. They would rather you not be there sick, getting everyone else sick. So I know it's a bummer, but keep that in mind. Sleep, eat, bathe, hygiene. Yes. Another thing that you should be mindful of is photos and video. And when you're dealing, especially with pagan and witch communities, is you're going to have people who are not out of the broom closet to the rest of the world. And so usually these events have fairly strict or very clear guidelines about when and where you can take photos, if, in videos, right? Because if you're shooting for, I don't know, TikTok or whatever, and you pan the whole room and your little video goes viral, and then there is, Joe who has some, delicate job somewhere where he's about to be outed in Arkansas because of your video. Not cool, right? So making sure that you have permission if you are videotaping in the general hallways and such. Most presenters prefer you not to be videotaping. The event might be already taking care of that too. So be mindful of people's rights to their material. And if you take photos, just check the background or crop other people out. Ask permission, consent. Yes, those are really important things. So that's a walking list. So let's regroup. Let's look at this again. So you're going to check out that schedule, look at the program so you have an idea of what you're getting into. That means what events are happening that you're interested in, who's going to be there that you're interested in, what does your daily schedule look like. You're dressing comfortably so that you are feeling good, but you're not, causing traffic issues and such. You're going to have a badge. You're going to wear your badge so people can see your name, and they can see your pronouns, and they can see how close or far away they need to stay from you. You're going to look for newbie get-togethers, right? You're going to check your food options and pack the snack. Right? You're going to check the hours of your vending room and also check your funds appropriately. So you have, if you want to spend money, that you'll be able to do that. You are going to be awesome in your classes and save your questions for the end. You're also going to advocate for accessibility, taking care of the people around you as well as your own personal needs. You recognize you're not going to be able to do all the things. It's okay. That's why there's more for next year. You're going to sleep, you're going to eat, you're going to bathe, and you're going to make sure that you're not violating any video or photo policies and not outing anybody. Even if you think it's fine, ask permission. It'll be appreciated. So that is a kind of quickie list of things. If you have other tips and tricks that you recommend, put them in the comments. If you have other questions about attending events, put them below. Because there's so many things. I've been doing this for years now. So there's this stuff that I do automatically, and it's until somebody asked me a question that I was like, all right, I have an answer for you. Let me tell you this thing. So if you do this, right, you're setting yourself up for a pretty awesome event experience. And I think one of the last things I would say is, and it's hard, especially for me as an introvert, is people can be shy. Don't be afraid to introduce yourself. And also realize that other people, right, it's a busy environment. So if, like, for me personally, just for folks to know who, like, hi, I've posted this on Facebook, but I am an extrovert when I am presenting. I am an introvert the rest of the time. I also have audio processing issues, so it takes me a moment to hear or listen, especially if the room is crowded, and especially certain voice levels make things more difficult. I actually just got myself some loop, those little doodads here. I'm very excited to try it out and see if it works and helps for me. I'm also really bad at recognizing people because I'm very much if I see you in this place at this time in this situation, that's when I'm going to remember. So I'm definitely one of those people, if, like, you run into me at the grocery store, I'm like, hi, I have no idea who you are. Hi. It's awkward for everybody. So recognize that respecting people's personal space, but at the same time, it's totally cool to be friendly, and realize that everybody else is usually, like, in the same introvert burt. Here in our own little cabins, trying to communicate with the world. But most importantly, have fun. Allow yourself time to play, to explore, to learn things, try things that, like, I don't know anything about this. Let me go learn something about that. Versus sticking to things that you only think you're interested in, or the only topics that you already know, right? This is an opportunity to explore, to learn about other traditions and paths, how other people do things, other viewpoints. So it's one of the greatest things. Oh, one more thing is, if the event has hospitality suites besides the con hospitality suite, usually there are traditions, groups, covens, etc., other events that have hospitality suites, so that you can go from room to room and find out what they're about. They're usually having, like, more snacks, more bonus food points, and other activities that are happening. Sometimes those are in a program, and sometimes you have to check out and see where they are to attend those. But those are also great opportunities for meeting and mingling, and seeing people. All right, so there we go. There's Tempest tips for your first in-person hotel event, or your second one if you didn't do so good at the first one, or if you're just adjusting to the world, whatever it is. There you go. I hope you enjoy. I hope to see you. I'll be at Paganicon in March, in Sacred Space at the end of March, and then Magical Marketplace in Massachusetts in April, for starters. So more stuff coming down the line. See you soon. Bye.